More than 500,000 people are buried in the heart of Brooklyn.
So it looks like it should be right over here.
Names we may know well.
Leonard Bernstein is one of our most famous people. Horace Greeley, Boss Tweed.
And those time has forgotten. Like the headstone Greenwood Cemetery historian Jeff Richmond leans over now.
Okay, so this is...
It's one he recently found. Margaret Pine, a slave. Sold while still an infant, she belonged to a wealthy family, the Van Zants.
raising what turned out to be 11 young boys in the family.
After the boys had grown, Margaret wished to leave the family farm in Little Neck, Queens. She wanted to live in the city, working for wages. The Van Zants gave her permission to do so and were willing to free her. Around that time, New York was abolishing slavery, but that's not what she wanted.
And she said, I gave you the best years of my life, and now it is your responsibility to take care of me.
Margaret remained the family's property, so they would still have that legal obligation to take care of her until the day she died at 80 years old. That was in 1857, 30 years after the last slaves in New York were thought to be freed. Now, when the Greenwood team found this grave, it was actually still in the dirt and the grass was growing over it, and they couldn't read it at all. So what they did was they rubbed out the words. They were able to read the inscription.
And then it says slave.
The research team also found an article in a Brooklyn newspaper that spoke of her death and officially named her New York's last slave. But Margaret was more than just property. The newspaper says she was a faithful Christian until her death.
And she was in fact asked where she wanted to be buried. And she said that was really not one of her concerns, that her soul would be separate from any place that she would be interred.
Margaret Pine's obituary concludes, she lived life like a sincere Christian and died like one, cheerful and without a struggle to the last. In Greenwood Cemetery, Michelle Powers, Currents News.